Hello YouTube and welcome to another Linux tutorial. So in this video I will show you how you can completely destroy or wipe your hard disk data using shred and dt command. So are you ready? Let's get started. So as you may know, when you delete or format your hard disk, the data are still there. You just deleting the index or a reference to it. So if you want to give your hard disk or USB drive to someone, or you want to sell it, and you have some important or secret file, you must destroy the entire hard disk or USB drive before selling it or giving it to someone. So in this video I'll show you a couple of commands that will help you to do that. So first of all, let me connect to my station here, to my Linux station. Okay, so I'm connecting using SSH, and here we go. I'll provide here my root password, and also it's always good to use or to log in using the root in order to avoid any permissions issues. Okay. So here I'm on my CentOS station, but the procedure is the same if you are using a Debian based Linux distribution. Okay. So first of all, let me see the partition or hard drive that I want to wipe. So you can use fdisk in order to see it, fdisk -l, or simply list block command. Okay. So here I'll be using the list block command, and here we go. I have here, as you can see, two hard drive, SDA and SDP. So actually SDP is USB drive. It has almost 14.5 gigabytes. So I'll be using here SDP for demonstration because SDA contains my files and my data. So let's say I have here hard disk SDP and I want to wipe it. Okay, so let me clear that. So here, as I told you, I'll be using as an example my hard disk SDP. So in order to do that, I will be using here a famous command called shred. Shred is by default installed in most Linux distribution, so you don't have to install it or install any packages because it's already there. Okay, so first of all, let me see the help. So the dash help. So in order to see here the different options that we can use with this command. Okay, so here, as you can see, so for the help it says overwrite the specified files repeatedly in order to make it harder for even very expensive hardware proven to recover the data. So here, as you may know, there are some special software and hardware that can recover the data even if you did a format or delete of your files. So this shred command actually makes the task even harder in order to recover your data after formatting or deleting your files. So the simple actually command that we can use is this shred. So here you can use -v just for verbose mode in order to see what's happening, and you will provide here your device. So in my case it's dev SDP, and that's it. You can run it. Here we go. So here you can see the progress of the shred command, and you see 1 of 3 because actually the shred command will repeat the task 3 times. Okay, and of course the time of execution will be depending of how big is your hard drive. Okay, So here it gives me the progression for the shred command. So actually it writes some random data into my hard disk here, which has almost 15 gigabytes. Okay, so just remember, it will repeat the task 3 times in order to make it harder for software to recover your data. So I'm not going to wait till the end because it will take a lot of time, so I will just terminate the command with Ctrl+C. As you can see here, I have terminated the command because I don't want to wait. Let's see the other options that we can use with -- help. So here is actually the options here. So you can see here we have used -V for verbose mode, but you can also use the force command in order to change permission to allow writing if necessary. And as I told you, by default it will repeat this task 3 times, but you can specify even a bigger iteration with -N. So if you specify -N, for example 10, the task will be repeated 10 times instead of just the default, which is here 3. Okay, so it's a very simple command that you can use in order to wipe your data. So just remember that shred command is your first option, okay, in order to destroy your data. So let me give you another command here. You can use also a command dd. So dd stands for disk destroyer, and also it's installed by default in most Linux distributions, so you don't have to install it or install any package related to it, just use it. So as you may know, the dd command use just 2 arguments, ef, which stands for input files and you have to provide it, and of, which stands for output file. So for output file, I will be using here the disk that I want to wipe, which is in this case dev sdp. And for the input file, I will use here a special device called dev urandom. Okay, so first of all, let me show you what dev urandom contains. So I will use here the cat command in order to see the content of this special device. So if I use cat dev urandom, so as you can see here, it generates just random characters. So I'll stop it using Ctrl+C command. So dev urandom just contains or generated actually some random data. Okay, so you see the procedure here or the logic here. So the logic here is to fill our hard drive with some random data. Okay, so let me clear that and type once again the command dd. So I will just hit dd, and for our input file I will be using this special device called dev sdp, and for our output file I'll be using my hard drive that I want to wipe, which in this case is dev sdp. I can use also option status equal to progress just to see the progress of our command here. So I will hit enter, and here we go. You can see here it copies some random data into our hard drive here, and you see how many bytes are copied. So of course, as the previous command, it will take a lot of time in order to finish the task because it depends on how big is your partition or hard disk. Okay, but here you will notice it will run just one time. So in order to make the task even harder for the software to recover your data, you can, or you should actually run this command twice or 3 times. Okay, so I will show you how you can do that in order to run the command 3 times, for example, to make it like a shred command. So first of all, let me terminate the command. So as always, I'll be using Ctrl+C in order to do that. And always you have to wait a little bit for the command to give you the shell. So it's pretty normal. Et voila. So in order to execute this command 3 times, I can make a loop here. So for E and I will give it 3 times for 1, 2, 3. I will do just write the same command. So dd input file is our special device random, and for our output file I'll be using here the dev stp. And I'm done. So this simple shell script here will execute our dd command 3 times. So here I forget the progress, so in order to see what's happening. Okay, et voila, I'm done here. So this simple script will run the command 3 times. So if you want to run it 4 times or 10 times, you can do it. Just replace what inside the curly brackets from 1 to 3 by from 1 to 10 or from 1 to 12. So just a procedure in order to make harder for someone, for some malicious hacker or someone to get your data back or to recover it. You should run it actually many times. Okay, so let me terminate that. Okay, and also it's better practice to execute another command always with the dd command, but this time instead of using this instead of using this dev urandom here, instead of using dev urandom, you can also use dev 0, which will fill our hard disk by zeros. So let me show you what content of this dev 0 special device also. So if I cut it, actually it just generates some zeros into our hard drive. Okay, so after you execute your command with 3 times or 4 times, you can just, here I made a mistake, so instead of the first for input file, here I'll be using 0. So if I execute this command after I have finished my 3-time execution of the previous dd command, it's better practice to fill it with just some zeros, so you will be safe and you will be sure that no hardware or software can recover back your data. So if you want to sell it or give it to someone, that's the way to go. Okay, so that was just a couple of commands, actually 2 commands that you can execute in order to wipe your data. There are also some other packages, but this time third-party packages that you must install in order to have the same result. So for example, you can search for nwipe. Nwipe is also pretty nice software that you can use, or command that you can use in order to wipe your data, but you should install it. It depends on your distribution. You have first to install it in order to execute it. Okay, so as always, I hope that has been informative for you, and I want to thank you for viewing. Bye bye.